Hi everybody, this is Pinky with Pinky Jackson Organizing, and I'm hearing, help, there's no time for organizing. So I wanted to address two things. Number one, those folks who are saying there's no time on my organizing schedule to accommodate you, wanted to address, I fixed that. And number two, a bigger picture, which is not really what people are asking directly right now, but I do know that it comes up all the time. So I wanted to go ahead and share some tips for finding organizing time, even when you're not working with me, when you're trying to do it yourself, when you're trying to do it with friends or family. I wanted to give you some tips for finding time to get organized. Okay, so we'll start with the easy, fast one, and that is our schedule. I will tell you that I'm so grateful and blessed that I have so many loyal clients who are getting ready to resume their organizing sessions, and so many new clients. And I always love being able to accommodate folks on our schedule as soon as possible or as soon as it works for them. So what we've been working on today is expanding our offerings, expanding the number of times per week that we can organize with folks. And I'm very grateful that I've had a lot of extra rest these last several weeks, so I can do some double and triple shifts and some couple evenings, some weekends, and I'm happy to do that to fit more people in a shorter time period. And so what I've done is a big old spreadsheet. You know me, I'm an organizer, we do spreadsheets for May and August 2020, and my VA is working on it right now to get those into our scheduler. So if you've been on our website to schedule your times and you didn't see anything that worked for you, try again tomorrow, maybe today, before the good sessions go away, right? They're all good sessions, but some people, a Wednesday morning is really good, and some people, a Saturday morning is really good, and some people, a Tuesday evening is really good. So whatever's good for you. So it's not a bad idea to check. The other thing you can do is shoot me an email at pinky@pinkyjackson.com. If there are particular weeks that you're going to be working on something, or particular times of the week that it would be helpful if I could take a look and see about some time for you. I would be happy to check and take a look at that calendar. So that's an easy thing. But here's the bigger part. Whether you're working at home on a project or at an office, you're helping a community space, you really have to take one step back before you dig into the organizing, and that's finding the time to do it, right? So we need to declutter our calendars before we can declutter our stuff. And there's actually another step in between there, but I'll talk about that another day. But decluttering our calendars is really important, and I wanted to kind of give you some tips. First of all, here's an easy one. This is my visual aid for a way that I made 20 minutes today, right? Heine Brothers, love them. Locally owned, great coffee shop. For me, it's a tea shop. I just drink tea. Heine Brothers has so many wonderful community service activities. They're so supportive, and so I'm happy to support them. And today, on my way home, I knew I wanted to hop on here and make a quick video for you, but I really wanted a cup of tea. And so I thought, I need to find 15 minutes. Heine Brothers is right on my way home, and I buzzed in there, got the tea, went. Instead of coming home to get out the teapot and boil the water and steep the tea and add what I wanted, that little bit of time made time for me to sit down here with you. So that's one way I decluttered my calendar, if you will, to make time for this. And that's just an easy example. But there are lots of things on our calendar that we can take away either permanently or temporarily from our own responsibilities, and I wanted to give you some ideas for that. So first of all, take a look and see if there's anything on there that's what we call low-hanging fruit. The things that you have on your calendar and you reserve time for them, and maybe you worry about them, maybe you do them, maybe you don't do them, but they still block off time on your calendar, but they're easy to take off. It's a club that you don't really enjoy or do the activities with anymore. It's a group of friends that you're seeing at a different time, or you're seeing differently now, where you can easily reschedule them for another time. It's some responsibilities around the house. Maybe you're in charge of several different types of household chores, but for the time being, you need to either set those aside and say, this can wait for a day, a week, a month, a season, or there's somebody in the house that could take care of this. And so having that conversation, and I can help you with like how to plan that, facilitate that, with your family or with your housemates. But that's something to think about. Is this something else that someone else can do? Is this something that someone else can do, right? So that's a way to pull something off that maybe someone else can do. And then there's those things that kind of can come off even though you really feel obligated to do them, but you're not required to do them. This is like volunteer work. This is like connecting socially with more people. This is like maybe reading extra books for the book club. Whatever it may be, that it's great if you do it. It makes you feel good. It helps someone else out, but it really wouldn't cause any harm or be a problem for somebody if you stopped doing it. And either stop doing it completely because you're like, oh, I've been waiting for excuse to stop this. And a good reason is you need to get organized. And it's very reasonable to say, hey, it's been fun doing this, or I'm glad I got to serve and help for the last few years, but I'm taking a break on certain things now. I'm needing to cut some things out of my schedule to put in time for me to create new systems in my house to keep our family more organized, or to declutter my basement, or whatever it may be. That's really reasonable to let people know that's authentically what's happening in your life. And it's important self-care, and it's important just for your productivity and your peace of mind. So think of those things that you can let go of. And again, you don't have to let go of it forever, but for a little bit of time, and do it consciously, so you're not just like, oh, I'm going to skip that. I don't want you to have that burden of you blew people off or you didn't show up. I don't want you to have that burden. We as Americans hold a lot on our shoulders. We're just like, got to pull it up by our bootstraps, got to do this on all ourselves. No, you don't. No, most people don't do everything themselves. Just everybody gets help with something. And so I really would want to invite you to really know that who you are as a human being is worthy of balance and changing your schedule as needed to accommodate your current priorities, right? You're a human being. You're not a human doing, right? So think about those things that you can let go of because they're not really required of you. And then look at those things that are required of you. Look at maybe it's a work schedule. Maybe you work outside the home or inside the home, but for a company, someone other than your family, and you've got certain requirements. A lot of us, again, a lot of Americans, a lot of women, a lot of young people trying to prove themselves, work many more hours than they're paid to work. They really do. They don't take vacation days. They work extra. They work through their lunch period. They come in early. They stay late. So really look at that. I think a lot of us around the world are finding out that with this pandemic that we're living with, this is May 2020. I don't know what day it is. There's a pandemic. This is May 2020, right? And so many of us have had to change how we work and when we work. And many companies who didn't know prior are now finding out, wow, having people work from home is more productive. It's more cost effective. And for you, if you're the one working from home, you may realize you save a lot of time. You're not driving, you're not in traffic, you're not having to dress professionally every day, at least, not from the waist down. You're not having to go out to lunch or pack a lunch. There's a lot of ways that this new paradigm, whether you're in it at all or permanently or temporarily, that can be hours a day or at least a week that you can find to organize or systemize or declutter an area or beautify it, whatever you want to do and needs to be done, right? So that's another place to find time is from overworking. And then the third area that I would say is things that are required that, there's a lot of noise in the background. Sorry, I'm on my porch again. I like it here, but I'll find a quieter place too. So a lot of things are things that have to happen. The laundry needs to get washed and dried and folded and put away. Dishes need to be done. Meals need to be prepared. Cleaning needs to happen. Mail needs to come in and go out. So there are a lot of things that need to happen just in the typical functioning of a home. But do you need to be the one to do all of those? Do you need to the one to do all of those as often as you're doing? Can you put anything off? Defer it for later? Can you delegate it to someone else? And I'll talk about all of the D's of organizing in another video. But is there something like, for instance, you might say, I would really like to work on getting this entire kitchen counter cleared off, and I'd like to have a few hours because I'm going to have to move some things around and get rid of some things and organize some things, and I'd like to have a few hours, but I've got a lot of laundry to do, and I was going to spend a few hours this week catching up on laundry. Is there anyone in the family that you can go to and say, hey, I normally do the laundry, or I normally do all my laundry and you do yours, but I'm willing to clean off that kitchen counter and, go through a couple cabinets. Can we swap? Can I do that for the household and you get all the laundry done this week? Can we just swap? So that's an option to see if there's someone in the family that you can trade tasks with to free up time on your calendar. And the other thing is to think about things that maybe nobody needs to be doing or nobody needs to be doing anymore. And there's a lot of different areas. We do a lot of, there's some things that we're doing because there's a social obligation to handwrite a thank you note, to make another phone call, to take food to a new neighbor, those types of things. For this time being, for this small amount of time that you're organizing, or just for a certain day of the week. You may decide you're going to organize on Thursday evenings and Saturday mornings. And so for those 2 times, you're going to let those things go. And you can decide whether to pick them back up later, or you can do them more efficiently. I don't do a whole lot of cooking anymore. My kids are grown. I don't do a whole lot, but I do like to be hospitable. And so I will sometimes send a gift card to a new neighbor or someone who's had a new baby. Just order it online and have it go, or handwrite one card and put a gift card in there, or have a basket of fruit or some flowers or something sent, something that will take me 5 minutes versus an hour, to make it and deliver it. And people who cook from scratch a lot better than I do spend a lot more than an hour. So finding some middle ground on things that you don't want to let go of completely, but you need to do more quickly to free up time on your schedule, right? So I would say that would be what I wanted to share with you today, is find some creative ways to accommodate the decluttering project or the organizing project or the new system for productivity that you're putting into your home. Find ways to free up time for that. Ask for help, let it go, delegate it out, pause it, whatever you need to do to declutter your calendar so you can declutter your life. There we go. Hope that is helpful to you. Thank you so much for watching, and take good care. Bye-bye.